Hi, I'm Stephen Garvey, founder, leader of National Citizens Alliance of Canada. Thank you for joining me tonight. We have a pretty provocative information session tonight. We want your feedback. Please give your feedback in the comment sections on our Facebook live feed, also in our YouTube live feed. And we look forward to learning from you and responding to any questions or comments. We're going to be looking at political censorship, political discrimination tonight in the context of National Citizens Alliance. We're a registered federal party, and yet we believe, and the evidence shows this, that we're facing political censorship, political discrimination. And we're going to look into this tonight and show you the evidence and how we're dealing with it, and we're going to talk about some upcoming events. Political censorship, political discrimination should cause grave concern in all Canadians. This is at the fundamental basis of our society. Political speech, political involvement, political assembly, yet that's under attack in Canada today. It's under attack. The first thing I'm going to look at is the Charter. So we're going to look at that so we understand what our constitutional rights are currently. Here's the Charter here. And in our opinion, this censorship and discrimination pertains to the fundamental freedoms, Section 2. And by the way, NCA supports 9 amendments to this Charter. If you go to our policy section under constitutional amendments, go look up what those amendments are. We by no means think this Charter is great, is beyond criticism, yet it is what we have now. We want 9 amendments, but let's look at the Charter to see what we're dealing with. Section 2, it says here, Section 2B, freedom of thought, belief, opinion, expression. 2C, freedom of peaceful assembly. 2D, freedom of association. And just as significantly, under democratic rights, Section 3, it says every citizen of Canada has the right to vote and to be qualified for membership therein in the House of Commons and Legislative Assembly. And that's very important. We believe our right under Section 3 as a registered federal party to run in federal elections, our candidates for the House of Commons is being violated by denying the NCA opportunity to assemble publicly, to express ourselves publicly. And we're going to give you 3 instances of this. And we are pursuing our constitutional case now. That's all I will say. And our members and supporters give their full backing to NCA to pursue this. Enough is enough on the political censorship, the political discrimination that's going on in Canada. This is a step way back. Canadians coast to coast should be outraged that this censorship is ongoing. The mainstream parties say nothing about it. The media kind of just spins it in a very negative way. We believe they are fueling it. And before I get into the evidence of this is a chart we put up over a week ago. It's called The Game. And what we think is going on with this political censorship, this political discrimination, is under the category 2 of misinformed Canadians. We believe it's coming through biased, propagandized media. Also, there's a limit, the narrative using political correctness. We're going to show evidence of both of those. Affix pejorative, derogatory labels to those who dissent. That's clearly happening. And down here, ignore or vilify true opposition. And that's what's going on. So this, in this case of political censorship, it's all about misinforming Canadians. Very, very troubling. So the first evidence we're going to turn to, this is out of the Nova Scotia Advocate. We believe this online newspaper is run by misguided, misinformed Canadians. They may have a cultural Marxist, communist, socialist bent, but that's irrelevant. We believe they are misguided. And notice the term white supremacist. That's what they call NCA. It's completely unfounded. We would argue that this is a form of libel. And they have a picture, NCA not welcome, immigrants are. And this Solidarity Halifax is, we believe it's linked to a cultural Marxist group, a communist socialist group, which raises questions about our educational system, that why are there students thinking in these extreme ways? And here they are. This is as May 28th, 3:45 p.m., I assume Atlantic time. They were bragging about getting the Sydney and Truro NCA events canceled through bullying and intimidation of the venue operatives, the people administering the venues. Again, the false claim of white supremacists. They actually managed to manipulate the venue administrators in Halifax, Truro, and also in Sydney, involving the Lions Club and the Legions, to shut down the NCA events that were planned for next week. And they're claiming Islamophobic, racist hate, whatever, a bunch of nonsense. And then they talk about the Apple Blossom Parade in Kentville, how the board implemented a lifetime ban on NCA. So we're gonna deal with this. But the troubling aspect here, and there's many of them, is the bullying that's going on, the intimidation, the weakness of these venue administrators, where they're caving in to what we believe are behavior that resembles fascism, tyranny, bullying, spreading misinformation, spreading malicious lies. So it's not just these groups, it's the venue administrators who are being bullied and caving into them, which is only encouraging more behavior. Another issue is this cry of white supremacy, racism, hate. It's like cry wolf. And we know what the dangers of cry wolf are. It's diluting the meaning of those serious terms, so that they don't really have the meaning they're supposed to have. This is very dangerous for our society. Another thing that it's doing is excluding other supremacy. Brown supremacy, black supremacy. Islamic supremacy, Sikh supremacy, Christian supremacy. All they talk about is white supremacy. So there's a discriminatory component to this malicious rhetoric. And what's fueling people behind that NS advocate is the mainstream media. This article appeared this week, and it says anti-immigration party says Nova Scotia Legion censoring its political rights. Right there, that's playing into the narrative. That's pushing a very negative spin on NCA. NCA is anti-mass immigration. We're not anti-immigration. Further, it's raising questions for anyone who is anti-immigration. Who says that is hateful? Who says that is racist? It's putting a negative spin on it. Let's look at that article further. Again, this is just mainstream media spin. A quote, controversial federal party opposed to immigration and multiculturalism. So they're making any dialogue on immigration, multiculturalism is a bad thing. Who says it's a bad thing? There's many Canadians out there who oppose multiculturalism in Canada, at least it's extremes. Again, they're manipulating the public. They're misinforming the public. The NCA supports 50,000 or less mass immigration per year. We're not anti-immigration. We support rescindment of the Multiculturalism Act. Yet, we're not anti-multiculturalism, but we reject the extremes of multiculturalism. And then they go on a hit piece on myself personally. They were making up things going on, how we were kicked out of the parade last year. They were trying to link me to the Worldwide Coalition Against Islam. And they were exaggerating what happened at the Red Deer High School, trying to make it all about anti-immigration. I have very good news tonight. That original CBC article was updated. They actually took out the claim that I was a member of WCAI, which I was never a member of, so that's been deleted. And they also changed our purpose at Red Deer High School, the Lindsay Thurber High School. We were there to inquire about apparent unequal treatment of Canadian students compared to Syrian refugees. But they were painting that as anti-immigrant. That's been corrected. So we're making progress, everyone. Some of this manipulation, some of these lies and deceit are being corrected through our efforts. And that's very positive. And we will be dealing with this article as well. I'm going to turn to here. This is on our blog, Apple Blossoms Turn into Rotten Apples. I encourage everyone to go look at this article and read it. It's on the Apple Blossom Parade last year. We were accused of hate speech, malicious viewpoints. We were indirectly given a lifetime ban by the Apple Blossom Parade Board out of Kentville, Nova Scotia. Go look it up. This was all in a smear attack on NCA. Apparently, this board is connected to members of the Liberal Party. So we believe that this is a political hit because they don't like what we're saying. So they want to silence us. They're going to discriminate against us. And they're going to try and smear us. And that's exactly what happened. There was no attempt by the board to work with NCA. And we've been denied participation in that parade this year. We have started early on a constitutional case against this board and indirectly the Liberal Party of Canada because they're affiliated with this board. There's one particular MP we think through rumor that may have been pulling the strings on smearing NCA. This is our opinion. This particular Liberal MP now has left his seat and he's working for the banks, BMO. It's a revolving door for those mainstream parties. They go from the parties, from Ottawa, into the boardrooms, into the globalist corporation, banks, and vice versa. But that's all I will say on that. Make sure you read that article. Because of what's happened, the cancellations, we have updated our events. We will not be intimidated. We will stand up to anyone who is bullying, trying to politically censor us, trying to politically discriminate against us. We have set up new events in Nova Scotia. June 22nd, we're holding an NCA rally on Canadians Canada First. This is on our Facebook page. We're holding a second rally in Sydney, Nova Scotia on June 25th. Again, a rally on Canadians Canada First. And finally, we're holding a rally on Canadians Canada First in Truro, Nova Scotia on June 27th. Please share these events. Let's get a big turnout. This is about Canadians, Canada, our future. It's about the right to freedom to assemble, freedom of speech, freedom to speak against the status quo. That's what it's about. So please come out. We welcome you. We welcome your input. The more Canadians we have there united, the greater our voice will be. Let's not succumb to the political censorship, the political discrimination that's going on. This is a direct assault on Canada, our civil society, our democratic institutions, our fundamental freedoms. This is what it's about. We need to rise up against this fascism, this tyranny, this bullying, this intimidation that is going on. That is the only way we can defeat what is going on. We need to stand up to it. You have to stand up to it in a peaceful way. Thank you for joining me tonight. Please share the message. Join NCA, Canada's populist, nationalist federal party running in 2019. Share the message. Let's get more Canadians on board.